Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance's Performance Shop along with Mopars.com. Sunday afternoon, trying to get some stuff done here in the shop. A little warmer than it has been, supposed to be in the 70s pretty much this whole week though, so that'll be a nice change of pace after going in the freezer. And we have entered that point. I just recorded a couple nights ago Tool Haul 70, and that's like brand new stuff. In fact, it's so brand new that the bit of things has changed from Felo to Vit. And I had to record that one expedited for a couple of reasons. Number one, screwdriver testing. Number two, one of the sets of drivers was a gift for my nephew. And that kind of brings me back to everything I've just had occurring in the floor. It's been a weird time for people, these last couple of years. And typically, like there might be, I'll place an order, and there might be like one or two items, they're back order, they're like 3 weeks out or something. There were so many things these past, like really year and a half that have like taken an eternity to come in. It sort of creates weird things, like some of this stuff was bought for like comparative purposes, and it's like not dire, not desperately needed. It's cool sitting there. A lot of the times when I'm buying tools, I'm still at a point where like I'm getting it because I need it. Like I desperately need it for something I'm doing to complete it, type of a deal. So some stuff gets used, some stuff doesn't get used. I do my best to always be able to showcase it. I like the tool to present well, and obviously it does that if it's not covered in grease, nicked up, bent, crazy things like that. And we're at a point now, these next couple of hauls, unless I interject, like if there's a brand new tool that comes out and we bring it in ASAP, or if it's, something sort of pressing that I'm like, crud, I really need this thing, we better use it. I'll try my best to always record it. It gets hard, like if I mention Tool Haul 71, at the start of this video, like I like to do for, record's sake. Then, like if I release it and title it as 74, people are like, what? I'm confused, and it just creates a mess. Sometimes it's better not say anything at all. But I feel like you should know, like, a ton of this stuff is like from the same order, and I get some of it instantly, and then some of it comes 2 months later, and then some of it like lags way behind. And so I'm kind of at a point where I'm sort of compiling this stuff. Again, my thinking is like if I'm doing a Felo, primarily Felo stuff, like it's like, well, let's just make it all Felo. I've polled people in the past, and you have said pretty much consensus based that I would be in the minority there, and that y'all would prefer just a mix, like a true tool haul. Like, I needed a wrench, so it came from Stahlwille. I got this ratchet on Tool of the Day, and it's Hazette. And then, this little thing here I thought might work for this, and it's from Gador. And then this was just dirt cheap from Wiha to get free freight, that type of stuff. But there's literally, I don't know how many orders and then how it's split up and everything. I'm just going to try to keep it intact where I can. And then like this would have been what I felt was a very small tool haul. So I'm adding in an item that I guess was like, I know I got it on Tool of the Day, but I know I would have got something else because otherwise I would have paid freight. And for the life of me, I don't know what it is. I could technically, I guess, like go into my order history and check it and figure everything out, but like I try to go by the packing slips. So if you did not know, on your packing slip from KC Tool, you'll have your order number up in the top right hand corner, and let's say that like every 80% of it's there, but 2 items are out for a long time, but then there's an awesome Tool of the Day. You can do that, and they'll typically like ship it, or sometimes if it's like taking a long time or longer than expected, they'll email you and be like, hey, do you want us to send this out, type of a deal. And when you do that across like several orders, it gets real confusing. But without further ado, we're gonna get started here, and this is something that I really did want to showcase a long time ago. But we got into the situations where like the Cutix finally came out, and then the twin grips finally showed up, and then it was like advent calendar time, and the Heyco stuff, like the expanded Heyco line, I felt like that was bigger news. To the best of my knowledge, I've not really seen anyone talk about these yet, so I guess it's still okay. But we're going to set these down right here in front of you. I want to mention, as you should know, any order gets a bit of thanks. Any order over 75 gets free freight, and any order over 100 gets the German tool sticker pack. It's probably in here somewhere. You kind of get the idea. I've covered it quite detailed in most tool hauls, so we're just going to jump into the action here. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking like, well, why would anyone cover this? We know about these. You brought in who knows, several Felo organic drivers. What's special about these? Of course no one's covered them. They're old news. Wrong. This would be old news. This is a Felo Organics. It looks just like that one for the most part, aside from being dustier. If I spin it around, you can see the positive identification. This one does have the hex bolster. You can also get these without the hex bolster. The shaft itself on these Felo drivers is hex shaped as well. Coming in, one of my favorite things on Felo drivers. Listen to this. I'm hoping the mic gets that, but the machining on that, you can see the lines. It may not show well in the camera, but I assure you it shows well in person. It's just super cool from a manufacturing standpoint, if you will. Barcode, I agree, hideous. Wish it wasn't there. But if you're thinking like, okay, hey, that's your number 2 Phillips with a hex bolster, what's going on here? Well, if you picked this up, you would notice it was significantly heavier, and you're thinking like, okay, so it's heavier. What's special about that? It's number 2 Phillips, looks to be. You would be correct. Hex shaft, same thing. Bolster, same thing. Barcodes there. Like, what did they do? Get rid of the barcode? You were excited and they ruined it? Well, take a look. This is a 412 and this is a 452. Now, if you spin this around, again, you've got the Phillips identification. Doesn't do the size or anything. You spin this around. Uh-oh. So you're going to tell me that they made the stupid thing heavier and they took away the ID, which is great, you know, for tool pouch storage and screwdriver racks. Well, they did take it away, but this is heavier because this is a striking cap driver, and it looks like the back end of a B too, which is kind of cool. You could totally use this for eyeballs at Halloween. Like if you fabbed up a little skull or something. But yeah, this is a striking cap Felo Organics. Now if you're thinking like, hey, I'm pretty sure you brought in striking cap Felos before. Well, we have. Most notably, these are benchtop ones, so this one has been used quite a bit, but striking cap right there on their, you know, wood handles, which are, again, probably the best wood handle drivers I've come across. Let me check this text real quick. It's about cats. We're fine. And then you've seen these, the kind of red and black ones that had, you know, the striking cap on the back end. So what is the deal here? That's not a Phillips either, by the way. That's why it's sitting out. It's, I guess, never had been offered. Again, this goes back to like August of 2021, the start of August. Ordered the 5th, got it the 7th. That's kind of how far back we are. And then it doesn't help that I'm recording this at the end of February, and you probably won't see it for who knows how long. But it is, again, the beloved black and yellow Felo Organics handle with striking cap. So if you're sitting here and you're thinking like, hey, is that one too? Absolutely. Why did I pick this one? Well, yes, I wanted to showcase slotted, but also this would be what I would use the most. This is a size, like if we come up here to my Veras, typically this size is what I'm using. You can tell, like if that looks like it's been hammered on and rusted a little bit, that's because it is, and that's because I use it the most. So, let me check this one. Let's see. Alright, cool. Little plans for tomorrow there. Nothing, looks like steak fingers for lunch if anyone cares. But price point, these are a little spendy, I'm not gonna lie. The 7 by 130 millimeter shaft there is gonna set you back $18.26. I'm sorry, $19.15, and then $18.26 for the Phillips. So you are paying a little bit more, but if you love that handle, if you're heavily invested, believe it's the best, and you wanted a striking cap version, pick your drivers, order them in. It's available across the line. Again, these are just the 2 I brought in that I felt I would use the most. So that's where we stand there. And again, if you've got this, you're fine, unless you're like, man, this would be the perfect driver if it was striking cap. Well, you can now make it the perfect driver for you with the striking cap. The next thing I want to do, we're going to stick with yellow and black here, but this is from Wiha. This is getting close to the time of like the Wiha clearance apocalypse at KC tool. If you were unaware, they no longer carry Wiha, which is super sad to me. But this is something that I ordered in and I used it immediately. And I also kind of used it as a guinea pig to see if I would want to invest more in this line. And what it is right here. This is, you're thinking like, whoa, what? Yellow and black, what is going on here? Well, this is their part number 36738. And this may have been on clearance price, or else it's reflective right now. It's $655, and you're thinking like, okay, it's a hex-based shaft. What's the deal? What did you buy now? It's a magic ring screwdriver. So, it was, what was it? I want to say it was either the crank position sensor or something on a truck, and then I used it on a friend's truck. What did we do? I know I did his O2 sensors. It may have been another crank position sensor. That may actually, I may have not had this when I did mine, and then I think I did his with this. So if you've never done the back end, of the block, 5.2, 5.9 Magnum, the CPS is way back there. And I'm talking if the motor is in the truck, oh, it's a nightmare. And his was a lifted four-wheel drive, which made it even more fun. But it's a situation where you have to come in, it's up against the firewall comes up because the engine recess. It's a terrible location, terrible to access, but that's what this was, and this set me back $655, and it paid for itself the first time I used it because it did exactly what I needed it to do. So, the other thing that's special about this magic ring, and again, we've covered these real recently, so I won't go into great detail, but there's a little steel clip over here. I think you can kind of see it. And what that does is it holds the fastener. So I've got one here. It's metric, unfortunately. But essentially, if this fit, it would drive in, and then when I turn this upside down, my hands aren't there because I need to turn this or like hold a wire loom back or something, but the fastener stays in place. Just super crazy good buy. And again, it kind of let me get a feel for these. It's the long one. It's 1/4 by 150, and like I said, for $655, that was a no-brainer. Now, I'm debating if I should even show this one, and I guess I will, but I'm not going to go into too much detail on what my sinister little plans are. But this was also, again, I think around the time stuff was starting to get liquidated, low priced, if you will. I spent $10.17 on this. And if you're thinking like, my lord, that's the best looking screwdriver I've ever seen, well, I'm right there with you. And it's Wiha's legendary soft finish, but black and blue, and it looks every bit as good as you got to imagine, like, think if this was updated now, they've done away with this like screen printing stuff, and they've got it to where it's like integrated, the overmold just covers the plastic. It looks really good. I should have one here on the bench. It's over here. Let me grab it for you. Right there, that's sort of what they've gone to now. This is the updated version, of course. Take that away and then picture that in blue. Ooh, screwdriver nirvana right there, I'm telling you. And I've got plans for this, but currently it is a 40 IP, so it's Torx, inside profile, right? And if this, I never seem to find them in 50. That kind of sucks, but anyway, I'm not going to go into great detail with that, but it'll turn some Torx screws maybe. So I'll just leave it at that. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. This next item is going to set you back. Good lord, these texts. I promise, I sat here and like mapped out everything, and I had no text, and now they just come through like crazy. Always seems to happen that way. This next item was $38.94, but I did not pay that. Why? Because it was tool of the day. And it's from Stahlwille, and that makes it a really good deal. $38.94 is honestly not a bad price if you know the dimensions that you need, but it's right here. And you think to yourself, I can't see anything, fool. Well, I would agree with you, but the part number, 1076/6, or you can find it 96432201. Once again, I have everything linked down below. I'm still making nothing off that, solely do it for your convenience. But let's take a moment to appreciate how prepared I was for this tool haul. Got the Stahlwille scissors so we can cut this open for you. And you can see exactly what it is that we brought in on Tool of the Day. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you their Torx keys. Now, if you're thinking like, that kind of seems like an unnecessary purchase. Well, I don't have a lot of Torx keys. I believe all I have is the Vera set, which I also grabbed for showcase purposes. And the problem is, it's going to go from, let's see, we got 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27, 30, 40. Again, no one ever goes to 50, and that's what I need for seatbelt bolts. But basically, 15, 20, 25, 27, 30, and 40. Why did I get these? They're stubby. They're like super short. Usually I don't want that. I want long for leverage. There's certain instances I've been coming across more and more with throttle body screws where I kind of need something stubby. And that's, again, where these came in. Tool of the day, it was probably 30 to 40% off of that, so pretty solid buy. I would guess around 20 bucks, somewhere in there. And again, for something Stahlwille branded, I have very, very high hopes for these guys. And we'll get to use them here probably pretty soon now that they're open. So that's that. This would be the video, but I thought, man, that is kind of short, even as much as I like to ramble about how cool the tools are that we brought in and what we're going to use them for, or what we've used them on, and all that stuff. It's still, I feel like I'm kind of shortchanging you, the viewer, right? I'll tell you, some of this stuff did come with the limited edition USA stuff from Vera, so it's around that time, and again, that took precedence because it's limited edition. You need to know about it so you can buy it. But my note to KC Tool was, please ship the in-stock items from my other orders. I want to say there are 3 of them dating back to May. So that gives you an idea how things were going then, and it's just gotten worse. It's totally not KC Tool. It's like the manufacturing, the obtaining of materials, stuff going in transit, just everything's been weird. But what I added is, did I not grab the item? That's kind of a big deal. It's another tool of the day, and I know I was just looking at it a little bit ago. This will buy us some time, extend the video. What would you like to talk about? Because apparently I can't keep track of things. Man, we may have to pause this. I legitimately don't know what I did with these things. So let me just do that, and we'll be right back. And I found them. So, again, as I believe I was saying, this was tool of the day. This came in like by itself. Man, these techs, I tell you why. Cool. Alright, so cute shit, can't complain. But what we'll get back to right here, tool of the day item. This was something I actually had on a wish list, and I was just patiently waiting. I figured it'd never be tool of the day. It seemed like one of those items, and it became tool of the day, and I cashed in. Otherwise, I would be looking at like 65 bucks. These things are listed currently for $64.36. I'm pretty sure they were around 30 something when I got them. Have not used them, although I could have this past week at work. Would I have had them with me? Which I didn't. We had a little fan cover bolt break off. Didn't know it was gonna, actually we didn't break it is why we didn't know. It was one of those deals. I was loading a customer, we came back, took the fan cover off, and then when we went to reassemble everything, that's when we realized there was a bolt that was missing because it was loose, and we're like, oh, it's broken. It's quarter-20 stuff. And basically we had to run it over to the radial drill and just drill it out. That's what seems to always work the best for us. Clean it up, tap it, you know the drill. But I was sitting there and I was like, if I would just have had these at work. And I got them for home, I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought they'd come in handy for me. I hope I never have to use them. But they would have been nice to try. And then I could tell you, like, hey, you know, these things actually work. Or, well, had an application, sized it up real good, and it just didn't deliver. But what is it? What is this thing that you have that you hope you never have to use? Most of you probably know. It's a screw extractor. This is a double edge one. It's size 1 through 5. You can kind of see them there in the pouch. My apologies for the glare on them. Probably going to butcher the name on this. I haven't watched German tool reviews do anything on them in quite some time, so it would be like Rennsteig, you know, it's Rennsteig. We'll just go with that. But if we flip it around, it's actually kind of a neat little setup because they give you the size chart and they give you directions in 2 languages. So basically this is metric, which I don't care about because everything at work is old school outside of like a few things which we have to deal with. But to just keep it old school for you, extractor size 1 3/16 to quarter. That's where I would have used this because it was a quarter-20 bolt. I wish so bad I could have tried it out. But what they're saying here is you've got a pilot drill option. The minimum is 1/8 and the maximum is 3/16. So it's super cool that the chart is here. I hope this like stays intact and doesn't like, you know, get covered in grease, and which at work it would. It's just I'm saying, like, I don't know how long, how many times you could clean it off from anti-seize and stuff and still read this. It's kind of self-explanatory, really, but it is nice to kind of know what the manufacturer suggests. So extractor 2 is designed 5/16 to 3/8. That would be very, very frequently used at work as well. Pilot drill changes from 3/16 to quarter. Extractor 3 is used 7/16 to 1/2 inch. You would want a pilot drill of quarter to 3/8. Extractor 4 would cover 1/2 to 9/16. Lots and lots of 1/2 inch stuff as well. And then we would be using a pilot drill of 3/8 to 7/16. And then extractor 5 would work 5/8 to 3/4. You've heard me talk how many times I always complain about sets not going to 15/16, whether it's wrenches or sockets. That's because I burn through 5/8 bolts like crazy at work. So the big honker here, number 5, would work there. We also use a lot of 3/4 on the bigger items. And you're going to need a pilot drill size of 1/2 to 9/16. And right here, the note, the diameter of the bolt being removed should be determined, so to select the size of the pilot drill, which allows maximum entry of the extractor without damaging threads. Now, the instructions, my goodness, which are going to be tough to read. Uh-oh, looks like that's my nephew talking about the Suns losing to Utah right now. Going to be tough to read because it's German first and then English. Can't fault them there. It's just kind of confusing. So we'll look for the slash. You want to mark the part, in this case the broken bolt, with a center punch. You're going to drill the hole with the appropriate pilot. And then we're going to hammer the screw extractor into the hole so that the blades penetrate into the material. Next up, we want to screw the extractor out of the threaded hole using either a tap wrench, using a wrench or a tap wrench. And lastly, you want to remove the defective screw or bolt from the screw extractor. So these are 100% made in Germany. This is a little guy. I told my coworker, I was like, man, I've got some at home. Let me grab them. And they're like, we'll just drill it. So this is a little guy I would have gotten some feedback, reconnaissance, first world impressions with, but didn't get to have that happen. Let me bump you up to number 5 just so it's easier to see. Again, this is something you should have. Everyone should have something similar to this. And you just hope you never have to use it, right? So, case in point, I get a lot of people that want me to do exhaust manifold stuff, and I'm like, no, too busy. But this is kind of where you'd have to resort to some stuff like that. And a lot of times, like, it's not really advantageous, right, to pull a motor from a vehicle to do repairs where you can easily get like your full-size drill in. So it comes down to weird, it's just bad times. It's not fun. But right here, each one of these has a part number. So let's say that I use up 3 all the time and I break it, or it gets dull, or these blades wear, whatever happens to it, we lose it, who knows. I can come in and I guess I could order these individually. But again, at the tool of the day price, I was like, I'm doing it. Again, this was something I'd had on my list for a long time, and I thought I'm going for it. And this is what they look like. So I'm sure the ends are all going to be metric, but you know, it is what it is. I guess I can quickly, for all the metric people, which is probably the vast majority of you, I start to get a few old school Mopar people watching the tool content, so I mean, at least they'll appreciate it. But just real quick, like, we got the metric stuff, and let's see here. Screw size, you're going to be, oh, look at that. Huh. They actually inverted the chart here is what's going on. So your drill size is here, and then the bolt size is there. So then in English, it's the bolt and then the pilot drill. Interesting little change there. But it'll basically handle M5, M10, M8 to M10, M10 to 12, 12 to 16, and 16 to 20. That's just hard for me to read as you. Luckily, the SAE stuff is down farther, so it's got less bulk at the top and it's easier to see. But yeah, if you have used these, let me know. How do you like them? I'm not thinking many people will have their Rennsteig, whatever. Again, that's something I don't really bring a lot of their stuff in, so I think there was some stuff German tool reviews brought in, but I mean, that was a long time ago, and I wasn't really thinking about pronouncing it correctly in 3 to 4 years. So that's that. I'm excited to have them at tool of the day price. That's why I held off getting them. So that's a win on my front, and this is what we got. So again, I tried to kind of combine a couple of different orders to sort of give you a little more content, and that's what I'll be doing here coming up. It is what it is. I'll do my best. Again, you've told me in the past, like, hey, don't you dare just do Felo. Don't you just do Stahlwille. We want to see a mix. And so outside of like orders where it was literally just straight up, hey, this Stahlwille ratchet's on sale and I'm getting their socket set complete or something like that, that's what I try to do for you. So we will leave it at that. But yeah, the big thing here, and the thing that I'm so sad that I didn't get to showcase until now, is that the Felo Organics, the beloved Felo Organics that many of you absolutely worship and adore, it's got striking cap options now. So that's the kind of the big story here. Again, and 2 super nice tool of the day buys. Just the savings on them is really what I'm excited about. Again, I hope I never have to use these, but if I do, I'll probably make like a video, or it'll be part of whatever we're doing, and we'll see how they work. And that's usually when you're not super happy. And I don't have a radial drill here, and so I mean, I'm kind of limited. I can take my stuff to work and do it, but I try to get everything I can done in-house. So anyway, that's about it. Do hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, I hope you're about to have yourself a fantastic weekend. If you're interested in any of this stuff, if you picked it up, if you scored it on Tool of the Day and have used it, how are you liking it? What are your impressions of it? The website is LoneStarMopars.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all 3 at LoneStarMopars.com. That's about all I got for you. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you like a lot of the stuff I'm doing, I encourage you to subscribe. Free, costs you nothing. If you jump your Charger across the creek, ring the bell, and wield your Rennsteig screw extractor, maybe, just maybe, YouTube will let you know that we have got new videos out every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Texas time, and we typically have stuff Wednesdays at 9 a.m. as well. With that said, I hope you enjoyed. Again, I'll be trying to piece this stuff together as best I can, keep it sort of diverse and entertaining for you. And we'll see how it goes. So main thing, I'm kind of wanting to get this stuff out from under the duster where a lot of it has been setting. So with that said, thanks for watching. Hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch you back here for more action from the shop. You know what? Bonus content here. I totally didn't think to showcase this, but when I said that they were stubby, let me give you a good example. This is the 40 from the Vera set. This is the 40 from the Stahlwille set, so this is significantly smaller. Again, that'll kind of give us a little different option if we need to get in tight spaces. Again, typically you would prefer leverage, but sometimes you got to go with what fits. And again, particularly think of like running the screw in or something like that. So I would say it's almost half the length. If I come in, that's right at in front of the 0 and 40. So if I spin it around and we put it kind of right dead on in the middle, you get the idea. It's significantly smaller. And again, that sort of just highlights the stubbiness of the set for you.